Hello, everyone. You're listening to Game Rivals, a podcast where a Nintendo fan and a PlayStation fan talk about the latest games and happenings in the gaming community and industry. I'm one of your hosts, Maximilian X, and together with SeanTemplar, we bring you this bi weekly podcast about video games. And welcome to the latest episode of Game Rivals. I'm your host, Maximilian X, together with my buddy and co-host, Sean Templar. How you doing, Sean Templar?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. All things considered, um, yeah, everything is going okay. News is a bit slow, but for the news that there is, it is very interesting at the very least. So let's just let's just dive right in and get to it. We have more time that way. So we know that the world's a little bit not great right now because of a certain thing that's going on, um, and it's been halting a whole bunch of stuff. And well, let's face it, it's not been the greatest time of it, but that hasn't stopped the rumor mills from churning on, has it?
Uh, well, I think that's the least you can say about it. A lot of people know that we've been talking about the next gen consoles almost every episode now.
Yeah.
Because it's at least let me put it this way. Until recently, I thought it was definitely going to be a sure thing. But after all the events with the whole world going into utter chaos about a virus and that we might actually end up in a Last of Us kind of era if this keeps on going. Not. I think next gen consoles might actually either be delayed or might he have low supplies because, um, the countries that are affected hardest by this virus are also the countries that are responsible for manufacturing a lot of things. Um,
Yeah.
the latest rumor is that Sony will apparently launch a PS5 Pro next to the regular PS5, and that this will be like a true Pro machine, kind of following in the rumor that Microsoft might also do it. Um, the only thing that's really known about it is that the regular PS5 will have a GPU capable of 9.6 teraflops of compute power, and the Pro will do around 12 or 13. Um, I don't know if that's like a really big difference. I'm not an expert in teraflops compute and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, and apparently they're gonna also include some kind of subscription service to it, which sounds really strange. I don't know why they would do that. That would make no
Oh,
sense.
I hadn't heard that rumor.
Yeah, I saw it and it is a bit strange. I don't know why they would want to do it. I mean, people are like in the Netherlands, people are a bit hesitant of subscriptions.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, but yeah, there are also rumors that that maybe the consoles could be delayed, or that when it comes out, that the component shortages that are being caused right now because, well, basically nobody's producing anything or in low quantities. That if they come out, that the supply will be pretty constrained. I mean, I read, for example, yesterday that Nikon, the camera manufacturer, is postponing the launch of their top of the line D6 DSLR because they simply don't have enough components for it.
Yeah. I mean, that's not the only thing that's being delayed. I mean, even in the movie industry, the latest James Bond movie is supposed to come out in April, got delayed to November
Yeah, because of
just
Corona.
because just because of coronavirus. So I mean, I guess only time will tell and see what's gonna happen. But yeah, I'm not surprised because because of the rumors about the next generation of Xbox being multiple machines. I mean, the naming already proves it. Series X
Hmm.
already proves it that either they're planning ahead or they are planning to close to simultaneously launch multiple versions of the next generation of Xbox. And the cherry on top, of course, for Microsoft is that whole buy one and it's available on all your available platforms.
I honestly don't understand why they would do it. I mean, and I've said this before. I mean, they can play this so smartly by saying, "Okay, we're going to make two boxes. We're gonna position two boxes. One will be the Xbox One X, which will be entry level 4K, which will be available for, I mean, for example, 299. So if you want 4K 60 FPS gaming, you can get it at that level. And they've said that going forward, for the foreseeable future, all games will also come out on Xbox One. So
Mhm.
not a lot of incentive to upgrade.
Or at
And
least the first year.
yeah, and then if they could, they should like, okay, you know what, the Xbox Series X is going to be like the ultimate tier of 4K gaming or 8K gaming or whatever it's possible, and that's going to be 399, 449, 499, something like that, so that they like have these two distinct tiers in which people can step in. Same goes for PlayStation. You put the
Yeah.
PS4 Pro, you say this is entry level 4K with checkerboarding is 299, or I think they can even go 249 because they've been producing that thing for quite a while now, so it should be cheap to make it.
Mhm.
249, and then the PS5 is just one box, 12 teraflops, like the whatever they want to put into it, and they say like, okay, this is 449, 499. So there's
Yeah.
like a clear distinction between the way you can play it. Also, if people don't want to invest heavily into the next gen and say, you know what, I'll just wait till it gets cheaper, I can buy a PS4 Pro or a One X. That's a more logical way to go, instead of saying, okay, we're going to do two boxes, and we're going to probably with two boxes also have different SKUs because of storage and whatnot. So we're going to kind of create confusion around consumers to what to get, because yeah, people always want the pro version, but if the pro version is $600 or euros, well, nobody's gonna get the pro version.
But here's the thing though. They can here's the thing. Because of the smart delivery system, that's the one. Because of the smart delivery system, it doesn't matter if they're creating chaos because again, they can buy one version of the game and it will be available on any version. I
But
mean,
is
I'm
that
assuming
something they're
if
gonna do for all games? Because for now, they only said it's gonna
they're
be
doing it for their games.
okay,
They're doing it for their games, and CD Projekt Red has committed to Cyberpunk
$2077.
2077 being also supporting smart delivery.
Yeah,
So it depends on the developers, the publishers to support it. But Microsoft themselves said that they're doing that anyway. So
I think Sony should do it as well, because Sony can't stay behind and say we're not doing this, because then they will get a lot of issues about it.
yeah, the only thing that I'm worried about in both cases is that you're gonna have not just Xbox One X and um, the Series X and whatever the other one is going to be called. Remember, they still sell the Xbox One S and they sell the SAD.
Yes.
Like they're gonna have five different SKUs this holiday season. Should everything go okay, assuming that the other one is also coming out this holiday
Yeah,
season and
but
not
that's
coming
what I
out in
mean. Like,
March.
then if they take the approach that I just explained, they should just kill off the sad and the S and the bad and the whatever. Just kill off all cheap Xbox One S configurations and say like, okay, it's the One X is the new cheap configuration because it's 299 or 249 or whatever.
No,
Uh,
they're not gonna kill off the one S because exactly for that reason that you're saying, they can lower the price for the one S to 200 or 150 and be like, this is our entry level box. All our games from Microsoft will be compatible with this box,
but why would you
regardless
buy
of
it?
which version you're buying it.
Why would you
Hmm?
buy it if you know that the next gen
For
is
your
coming up?
kids, for your kids, something cheap.
Uh,
Like for right now, the Switch isn't cheap. Like the cheapest one you can get is the Switch Lite, which is fine. For PlayStation,
Slim.
the Slim is like how much? Like 299,
I see.
249, something like that.
That's still pretty cheap.
That's still okay. That's relatively cheap. But if you can compete at a 199, 149 level, wouldn't you do that?
Yeah, but I mean, like, I see Sony applying the same technique and saying, "Oh, the Slim's going to be 199." I can remember with the PS2 at the
Yeah, I mean
time,
that
they
the
kept
odds
it
are there that the
199.
Slim might actually get discounted to that as well. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's easier and cheaper to do it. I mean, yeah, you can get a Slim now for 293.
$2.93, really?
That's what I see.
Huh. I thought it was cheaper. Oh well.
I've seen it for 199 at places.
Yeah, I mean when they're on like special discounts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I guess time will tell as always. Um, but considering the amount of things that got canceled, GDC, like we said last time, is canceled. So we're not gonna get any announcements from there.
E3
Uh,
might actually be canceled. Might be. It
yeah,
could be. I mean, it's like this super big event. A lot of people are coming at it. I think. I mean, Google canceled Google I/O, for example.
yeah.
I think it's really
Facebook canceled
possible.
the Facebook canceled their own stuff as well. So
Yeah, I think
we're not gonna
E3.
hear anything like Oculus Rift related also in the in the near future.
Yeah,
So that's
I
that's
think.
also that's also gonna be weird actually because what's coming out again? Half-Life Alex is about to come out.
Yep.
Yeah, so basically, if you haven't gotten your VR headset in, prepare to wait longer because I'm pretty sure that that stuff is getting delayed as well.
I don't know.
In terms of like delivery, if you buy one,
I think
because they
Valve is
have to
going
build
to
them out of
fight
something,
their
right?
headset. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm not
So
into
yeah,
VR,
I'm
so
not.
I really don't mind.
Yeah, but
We did get one bright news, and that's a release date for Ghost of Tsushima.
yeah,
Yeah,
Ghost of Tsushima is coming out in wait June, right?
yeah, it's in June. It's like a
Yeah,
month
June
after Last of
26th.
Us.
Yeah. Wait, a
Yeah,
month after?
a month after Last of Us. Last of Us comes out in May.
Ah, gosh darn it. Thought it was in April. Oh,
No,
no, wait, it got delayed. Right, yeah.
yep,
I still have the old date in my
it's okay.
head.
It's okay. I know that you're as super excited as I am, so you know.
Come on, man. I'm at the very least curious. And speaking of,
I
The
can do a
Last of
prediction
Us.
now that I mean Last of Us will probably get tens again across the board from all the big sites except for Polygon. They will probably give it a 6.5 instead of a 7.5 this year, just so they can attract a lot more people to their site. Because I mean, of course, if you give The Last of Us one a 7.5, that's clickbait, man. You won. And I hope that the same dude that reviewed the first one reviews the second one, so he can bitch and moan about what he doesn't like on the second one, which they can improve from the first one. So
Yeah.
if anybody wants to take me up on a wager, I'm open.
Oh my goodness.
Sometimes these people.
Yeah. Well, if he doesn't like The Last of Us Part 2, he might actually like Last of Us the TV show.
Yeah, that's also a really interesting move that Sony
That
announced that
came out
they're
of nowhere.
nobody saw it happening. I mean, it's going to be an HBO show, and the producer for Chernobyl, which is like one of the best shows ever,
Mhm.
is going to produce it, and Neil Druckmann, the creative director on the Last of Us, or the game director, I think now, is also going
Yeah.
to write a few episodes.
Yeah, good
So
for
that's
him.
like really, really interesting because that almost never happens.
That never happens full stop, man.
Yeah.
Like,
So
at all.
that's a pretty sweet deal.
Yeah. I mean, a TV show actually might work in its favor because, I mean, if it's a HBO show, it's probably gonna take 2 or 3 years to film and make, and then they're gonna put out 10 episodes, and they're gonna call it a season, and then we'll see if that gets popular enough so that they can spend another 2 or 3 years making another season
I have the
of another
perfect
10
guy. I hope
episodes
they cast this guy, but I know the perfect guy to
to play
play
Joe.
Joel in the TV show.
Who?
His name is Jason Thoreau, I believe. He's from a TV show
Jason
called
Theroux?
Yeah, from The Leftovers. It's actually in The Leftovers that there's this part in which he has a beard and a haircut, kind of like Joel. And like
Yeah.
at that moment, when I was looking at the episode, I was thinking, okay, this is Joel. This is literally Joel from The Last of Us. They need to cast this guy because he'll nail it. Yeah,
Yeah. Now that I think about it, maybe that's what they should have done with instead of making an Uncharted movie, they should have just made an Uncharted TV show. It would have been out by now, for one.
I heard that the movie got a release date, but that the director that was attached dropped out again. So
Dropped out again,
I think
exactly.
this
Fantastic.
This movie is
Mm,
in limbo, to put it that way.
yeah. I
I don't.
mean, if it doesn't go the way of the Gambit movie, I don't know what
I wonder
is.
if, for example, the Metal Gear movie is ever going to get made.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, because that also
But
had a director.
yeah, wait, who was producing that? Sony?
Initially, like years ago, they said Sony was going to do it, but I don't know if Sony's still attached.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, if they have the rights, you mean? Yeah.
They have the rights, but I don't know if they still have them.
Yeah. Well, I guess we won't know until some news breaks about that.
Yeah,
And in the meantime, if people want to know if love blooms on the battlefield, they can do it in Call of Duty's new mode that's coming out later today, or as we're recording later today. But
yeah,
by the time you're listening to this,
it's out.
it's already out.
Yeah, in a surprise move, finally, because Warzone started leaking out like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and
Wait,
everybody was.
seriously?
Yeah, I mean, they brought out an update for season two, as they call it,
Yeah,
and then initially, in when you start up the game, there's this intro cutscene. Already there, they teased like Warzone, and
yeah.
then in the menu, you had like a fourth option for a game mode, but it was classified. And then videos started leaking out. Data miners found a lot of stuff around the game mode and weapons and whatnot. It was
Mm.
like this the weirdest leak bonanza or whatever you want to call it. And then eventually yesterday, a lot of influencers. Oh, I hate that. Got to play the game and a couple of days earlier and posted their videos around it with their thoughts. And so they announced that the mode is coming out today.
Yeah.
And
So they're doing it in two tiers, but the tiers make absolutely no friggin' sense to me. So at what was it again? 11 a.m. Eastern
so at
daylight savings
4
time. So
p.m. Dutch time.
yeah, it's gonna go live for people that own Modern Warfare. And for people that don't own Modern Warfare, can download the standalone version of Warzone, and that goes live. I think 4 or 6 hours later at 3 p.m. So that would be, yeah, like 4 hours later.
Something like that.
So yeah, so like 9 o'clock, nine p.m. in Western Europe. So yeah, yay!
Yay! I fired up Call of Duty Modern Warfare yesterday because I didn't play it for like 2 weeks because I'm totally hooked on something else. So I was like, okay, let me see if I still got it. I luckily still got it. So when it comes out later today, I'll be going all in on that. It's funny
Yeah,
that it's a standalone game. I think a lot of people
yeah,
expect that. So you don't have to own the initial Modern Warfare. You can play this game if you just have a PC or an Xbox or PS4, and it's also crossplay. So I can, for example, play on my PC while you're on your PlayStation,
yeah.
and it's free to play. And if you have the game, all the progress you make in the battle royale mode transfers over to to the normal multiplayer in the game.
Vice versa as well.
Yeah, so if you don't have the game and you build up progress in the game and you buy the game later, then it also transfers over.
Oh, okay. Nah, for a minute there, I thought you were about to say like if you've played multiplayer and you're going into war zones, that transfers over. So basically, you're a big fat cheater if you already
Oh no,
own the
but
game.
there's no you can't cheat because all the weapons are you start out with a pistol, and all
Yeah.
the weapons are just to be found, and it's like it's like a basic battle royale. You just pick up different weapons with different rarities, and they have attachments or stuff like that. The more rarer they get, but it's actually cool that they've grabbed some maps from older Call of Duty games, such as Terminal from Modern Warfare 2. So they've added it
Mm.
to it, so it's like kind of naturally woven in. And other multiplayer maps have also been woven into it. And there are also objectives you can participate in. So there's this mode called Bounty. So, for example, that another player is marked as a bounty, and you have to try to kill that player, and then you get extra loot or bonuses. Because there's also an in-game economy in the game. You can basically earn money, and with that
Mm.
you can unlock perks or drops.
Is there
Kill free.
microtransactions then?
I don't know about that part, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was because it's already in there now in Modern Warfare.
It is.
Yeah, yeah, it's been part of the Call of Duty franchise for a couple of games now. You can buy Battlefield, Call of Duty coins, and with those coins, you can either buy vanity items such as skins for your characters or blueprints for weapons, or you can buy the expansion, the season pass with it, or the battle pass they call it, and also skip tiers in the battle pass because the battle pass is like 60 tiers, and you can either do it the slow way by gathering XP, or you can just buy a tier. What's also funny about Warzone is that if you get killed, you
Hmm.
go to the gulag, as they call it, and it's this kind of prison. And then um,
Hmm.
there's an option for you to return back to the game, to respawn to the game. So either your teammates can buy a respawn token for you and respawn you, or when you get sent to the gulag, you're basically in this prison, and there's this kind of cage fight in which you have to fight against somebody one on one, and if you win, you just have guns to do it. If you win, you get respawned into Warzone, which is pretty cool. I mean, it's like this different take. Why are you
What
laughing?
on earth? That is hilarious.
But I think it's a pretty cool original take on respawning.
Well, that's one way to look at it.
Yeah, I mean, like,
But
hey,
okay, I mean, it sounds interesting.
it
Didn't
is.
see that coming at the very least.
Yeah, and there are also
Uh,
other modes in there. So there's a mode that you have to capture a point, or there's also another mode that you have to capture supplies. So they're trying to mix it up a bit instead of just saying, well, you just have to kill each other. Um,
yeah.
is also a bit more dynamic in there, so that the combat shifts a little bit. I've seen some footage. It looks really cool. I'm honestly excited because
But is it like so? It's like 100 players at the same time, right?
so what I read was 100 players, but I've also heard people saying maybe 150 players, but I don't know about that part. I
Yeah,
think it's 100 players.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think Battle Royale is kind of, the hype is over because I rarely
Yeah.
hear somebody talk about Battle Royale. So that's why I was kind of excited for this, because it's a proper Modern Warfare Battle Royale game and not a crazy Fortnite or, unfortunately, Firestorm, which didn't end up the way I thought it was going to end.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think that's also probably the reason why Warzone is also a standalone thing because I think I at the very least I think they realized that if it was just in Modern Warfare, the player base wouldn't grow.
that's possible. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, all you'd be left with is the hardcore Call of Duty players, and they probably would get bored and just return to regular multiplayer. But if you make it free to play, a standalone free to play thing, then you get more people in it, and also you get people that might actually buy the full game afterwards.
Yeah.
So actually, a brilliant strategy.
I'm curious to see. I mean, I have put in a lot of hours into Modern Warfare. I still like it. It's just that, yeah, I'm just trying to find something else to play in the meanwhile because I want some variation. But
Hmm.
besides that, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Well, we'll try it out and let you guys know in the next episode in what we've been playing, how that went, and how we feel about that. And to leave things off before we go to this week's what we've been playing, there's one more thing that kind of took us, well, completely by surprise, not even a little bit. Some of you guys probably have heard of the retailer GameStop, which sells video games, of course. They've been doing so for years. They haven't been doing that well, like as in employees being forced to do some really, really underhanded stuff just to get people in the door and get them to buy stuff and force them to pre-order and buy used games and a whole bunch of other weird practices that they've been doing. The past couple of years they've been like bleeding money and it's been really rough on the company. So they decided to bring in Reggie Fils-Aimé, the former president of Nintendo, as one of their board of directors, along with two other people, actually. that are also prominent from the game industry as well. But that one kind of really stood out to people. That Reggie was going to be on the board of directors as of I think April 20th, along with Bill Simon and James Semantic. Yeesh, that spelling. And yeah, it's just really weird that they're being drafted to a company that is basically the equivalent of a sinking ship. But yeah, Reggie posted it on Twitter, and I honestly can't tell. I honestly can't tell if they're being serious or not. I mean, obviously they are, but it's still a really weird thing for me to see that. And I hope GameStop makes it out of it, but I don't know if they're gonna make it out of it. I guess only time will tell with that one, and we'll see if Reggie can actually help steer the company into some level of prosperity.
Oh, I think
Um,
I just muted my mic.
ah,
I'm curious to see what he's going to do. I mean, Reggie left Nintendo for probably a reason. Um,
yeah, I mean he like actively retired and he started giving lectures at his alma mater. So
yeah, I mean, like it's something you see often. That let me put let me put it this way: that Reggie's generation, so Reggie and Sean Layden from Sony,
mm,
and what was the guy Jack Tretton? They were all kind of like in the same generation of at the head of their respective companies, and they
yeah,
all kind of left because I think they've been in the job and with their companies for 2 or sometimes 3 decades. They're eventually like, okay, you know what, I want to do something else, or I can maybe do something else. But at the same time, I think that there's this itch that they kind of can't get rid of how it is to be in the industry, and that's why they're kind of coming back. I mean, otherwise Reggie would probably just have kept on doing what he's doing.
yeah. I mean it's the same reason why famous anime movie director Hayao Miyazaki keeps retiring and then coming back to make another movie.
No idea who the dude is, but yeah, if you say so.
Of course you
I don't watch anime, man.
don't.
I mean, I don't have patience for. Well, no, that's a topic for a different conversation.
Yeah, that's a topic for a different conversation. But that is it for the news. So stick around, and we'll be right back with what we've been playing.
Alrighty, righty, righty. Welcome back, everybody. We are at our second segment. What have we been playing? What have you been playing, Maximilian?
Well, a huge demo dropped last week for a game that people have been waiting for about. Well, when did the PlayStation 3 come out again?
2013.
2006?
PlayStation 2006, 2007, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, so ever since a certain technical demo was showed at E3 for the PlayStation 3, people have been wanting this game. And now it's finally happening. It's a mere month away, people. And that game is, of course, Final Fantasy VII Remake. And I played the demo. As soon as it came out, I played it. I did a recording of it. The highlights of that will be going up soon on our YouTube channel, so look out for that one as well. Um, yeah, it's okay. So a little, I don't know how to explain this without giving a little bit of context. So I'm just gonna give a real quick history lesson here. I have only played Final Fantasy VII, the original game, twice in my life. And I've only played the first part, which is what this demo covers, and a little part somewhere, I think, around disc 2 or whatever, because I never owned Final Fantasy VII growing up, even though I owned a PlayStation back then. And ironically, I owned a PlayStation because I wanted to play more RPGs like Final Fantasy.
Oh my god.
And, and I never owned, like, the only Final Fantasy game that I ever owned on PlayStation was Final Fantasy Tactics. So I don't have that same nostalgic itch that everybody has when it comes to Final Fantasy VII. To me, the best Final Fantasy ever was Final Fantasy VI.
I never played Final Fantasy 7 at all, so like I share your.
But that being said, playing this demo has got me actually somewhat excited about it
Okay.
because we already know that the game is pretty um, because we've seen the trailers. But having it running your own TV, having it running on your own PlayStation 4, and take into effect, I don't own a PlayStation 4 Pro or a 4K TV. I was playing this at 1080p, and it looks gorgeous, and it runs smooth at 30 frames per second. That thing is locked.
I need to download the demo.
At the very least, you need to check it out because it is a very pretty demo. It is very well paced, and it teaches you the ins and outs of the basic battle mechanics, which is no longer turn based. So for those that are disappointed that it's not turn based, they do have a mode that kind of mimics turn based mechanics. I haven't tried it out yet. I just played regularly on normal. Um, it kind of reminds me of Final Fantasy 15 if Final Fantasy 15 was more tactical. Um, and it really works because unlike vanilla Final Fantasy 15 where you could only play as Prince Noctis, you can actually play as the other members of the team. So in the demo you can only play as Cloud and Barrett, and switching between them is relatively easy to do. It's really smooth. It's a really smooth action. It kind of feels actiony at first because they set you up and they tell you that, well, if you want to attack, you hit the square button repeatedly to do combos. You can switch your stances from what they call operator and punisher mode, and that basically switches you from quick attack to hard attacks, and vice versa. And it's a really cool setup to do. Um, Honestly, the only thing I can say is like if you own a PlayStation 4, just download the demo and play it because I'm not gonna do it enough justice. There are other people out there that can do the explanation of how the battle system works more justice than I can. But from my experience, it has been really fun. You eventually get to do also special abilities, which are special attacks, where you can use special moves like Bracer and Fortress, and Overdrive if you're Barrett, where you shoots like really powerful shots, which is really cool to see because my goodness, the particle effects in this game. So many particle effects. Every time when you slash, every time when you shoot, it's particle effects galore. So if you're a big fan of particle effects, this is your jam.
Oh
Like
man, oh man, oh
seriously.
man.
The combo is real. You can really combo into stuff. You can build up your limit break, but that also works a bit differently. You still have an ATB, so you still have um, the bar that loads up so that you can do the abilities. But that's also tied into using items. So if you don't have an ATB bar filled, you can't use items.
Oh,
You
okay.
can't cast spells. You can't use abilities. So basically, you have to be very good at attacking and dodging, so that you can build up your ATB bars so that you can actually do abilities. Or if you need to heal yourself with a spell or a potion. In the demo, Cloud can only use the fire spell, and has two abilities, Bracer and Forward Thrust. And Barrett has two magic spells, Thunder and Cure, and of course he has his gun arm, which he uses to attack and fire. Um, and the way they set it up is actually kind of brilliant because when Barrett is introduced, he's introduced because he can target enemies that are either flying or far away. Basically, enemies that Cloud can't attack because he has just a sword. Um, and that's actually really that's really neatly set up. So it forces you to switch between the two characters and play more tactical. And when you finally reach that scorpion tank boss, you really have to pull out strategies and strafe around the enemy and use cloud and have him hit a weak spot on his shield generator so that that goes down. So you can use Barrett to use his lightning attack and shoot his overdrive shots and then take the boss down. And like the boss battle is really cool. And that alone sold me on getting Final Fantasy VII Remake, because I was like, yeah, sure, you guys have your Final Fantasy VII Remake. I'm just gonna sit here and wait for Trials of Mana to come out, because that one is also coming out in April. I'm so excited for that one as well. But now it's like, well, dang, now I have two RPGs that I want to play.
Does
It's like
the
not enough time in the world.
oh, you'll find time. Does
Yeah.
the progress from the demo carry over to the game?
No, no, this
Okay,
is like 100% standalone
okay.
demo.
And the
Because
game's
when you
gonna cost
first,
$60, right?
yeah, but considering that the demo was the first time I played through the demo was about an hour. Considering the length of that, and from what I've heard from previews, they have really mixed up the game, and basically they've expanded on that Midgar section to be more to cover more stuff, to go more in depth in the story. So it doesn't, from what people have seen so far, it doesn't feel like it's a cop out, and that they really fleshed out that first part of the
Okay.
story. So yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see, and if not, I can always pick it up on a discount
Yeah, I mean,
when the time comes. So
yeah.
so that was Final Fantasy VII, the demo. Again, if you, I can rant about it all I want. It's not gonna do it justice. If you play the demo, you'll see for yourself if it's a game that you want to play or not. Other than that, I have been playing other games. I've been playing Dauntless on my Switch.
Oh, how's that going now?
Um, it's okay. I mean, thank goodness that it has crossplay, because the multiplayer can be really hard to get into, and that's literally the only thing it has. I mean, you can play a mission solo if you want, but the game is really made to be played with other people. Because I tried one difficult I tried one difficult mission, and it took forever to get the behemoth down, and it's not fun playing alone.
Oh.
It just isn't. Like, playing Dauntless alone is not fun.
But it's the same with
Playing
Division. That's also not fun alone. And
Yeah, but
Destiny, not fun alone.
exactly. But here's the funny thing, like, because Dauntless is basically a Western take on Monster Hunter, and I can play Monster Hunter on my own, and I don't get bored by playing Monster Hunter on my own.
I don't like Monster Hunter.
But yeah, I mean, and I don't know, like, it's fine. I played it handheld and I played it on my TV, and I'd rather play it on my TV because on handheld the game just looks terrible. I don't know how they pull that off, but it's like it's lower than 720p when you're playing handheld, so you can really tell, and even on the small screen you can really tell. But when it's on the TV, I think it's not 1080p, not by a long shot, but it's a higher resolution, and it plays more smoothly. Like, I think they have an uncapped frame rate, which is like the worst possible thing you can do. Either lock it at 30 or don't lock it at all if you're trying to hit 60. But I think the reason why it ended up being that way is because it's crossplay with PC. So yeah, so you're either playing with people on PC or you're playing with people on Switch, or both. Um, but the core gameplay is good. Like, it's good, it's solid, it's fun. When you have a full team to go up against a behemoth. The only thing that I'm missing is a lock-on feature, which, the older Monster Hunters didn't have a lock-on feature until Monster Hunter Try, but they realized that a lock-on feature is handy because, well, otherwise you can't strafe around the enemy. You have to do a lot of strafing around enemies in this game, and it's kind of a challenge because you have to always tweak with your right analog stick. The combat is really solid. It feels more action gamey. If that makes any sense. It feels more hack and slashy than Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter feels more methodical.
Okay.
It feels more like a fighting game. Um, but with Dauntless, it feels more hack and slashy. You're a lot quicker with your combos, um, but you do still have to commit to those combos when you do them. Um, Other than that, yeah, it's been fun. I got some more stuff. I've been playing through the main campaign. I think the reason I stopped originally is because I got stuck on one particular behemoth, and it was just not giving me the drops that I wanted. So I finally got the drops that I wanted, so I was able to play further. That's the most that I've actually played since the game came out on Switch. um, but yeah, that was fun. And the other thing that I played was Animal Crossing New Leaf in preparation of Animal Crossing New Horizons, which, oh my god, that game looks so pretty, and I want to terraform my island so bad.
Oh my god.
But oh man, seriously, I need some like fresh Animal Crossing in my life uh,
Oh,
because after a couple of years, you kind of gotten all you can get out of the current game, and I just want to be able to like shape my island to my own liking, and just chill and catch new bugs and do some fishing, and just like have my zen moment right there, because that's what Animal Crossing is all about. It's about the zen.
okay. I haven't
It's
never
just
played it.
about
Don't know.
chilling, and I'm gonna make sure that we're gonna play some Animal Crossing New Horizons when it comes out. But yeah, like the funny part is like a lot of people that I know are really excited about Animal Crossing
Really?
New Horizons. Yeah, like a lot of people that we both know are really excited for this game.
Okay.
Some people that had even didn't think that they own switches because of Animal Crossing.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, it's like ridiculous. Like I don't even know where to begin. It's just crazy to me. So I've been just trying to gather as many people as possible there, and syncing up with them, and putting them on my friends list. So when Animal Crossing New Horizons comes out, I can invite them to my island and go visit their islands,
Yay.
and catch bugs and catch unique stuff that's on their island, and then bring it to mine and have it populate. Um, yeah, because the way it works is like when you have your own village, you get your village fruit, and that's only available on your village. But someone else's village might have, say, pears, and yours has apples, and you can get pears from their island, plant them on your in your village, and then you'll have pear trees. So
That is
that's how
cool.
you get that
And
stuff.
you can give
Yeah.
your Apple stuff to them.
Exactly, so that they can have apples, so that
Nice.
they don't have to come back the whole time and ruin stuff.
Can you also like
But they,
trade and stuff like that? Like have like a
yeah,
trade route and
you can trade stuff. You can give people presents, of course. You can send them messages.
oh,
Um, but the thing that is like a real extra neat thing that they added is that you used to be able to. You're always able to invite other people from other villages to yours, but you'd have to pay attention to them because they will just ruin everything if they are inclined to do so. If they're, trolls,
wow.
they'll just go around and chop down all your trees,
They can
and
do that?
and yeah, they can just uproot all your flowers and just ruin your whole village. But now you can lock that stuff out unless they're your best friend. So people that you just know visiting your village can't knock can't knock down your trees, can't mess with your flowers, can't put pitfalls in it so that you fall in and struggle. So
Maybe
yeah,
it's
that's
better
actually
that
really
I don't
nice.
have the game because I would so
Oh yeah, you would totally troll
I would
everybody.
just walk into your garden or whatever it's called, I would just destroy everything. just because I
Exactly.
can.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. See, and that's why you would never be my best friend in Animal Crossing.
It's okay, I can live with that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, so, that's about it. The only other thing that I played was, Dark Souls, and, well, people that have listened to Game Rivals before already know what I feel about Dark Souls. Screw Blighttown,
yeah, you've mentioned that before.
and the horse it came in on. But, yeah, I've been trying to play that again just to, I need to finish that game, so I'm every once in a while, I'm just gonna dive back in and hopefully get past that stupid point. Yeah, so that's basically what I've been playing.
Okay, nice. You've been playing a lot more than I've been playing. I've only condensed my time into two games because I'm consuming.
Mhm.
I have been playing Total War Three Kingdoms, of course, and
Has China grown larger?
China is indeed growing a little bit larger, a bit slower this time because I am taking a different approach.
Yeah.
In the last campaign that I was playing, I was how to put it,
Ruthless?
ruthless, merciless. The ends justified the means, so you would only have to cross me once, and I would or go all out war, and I would continue till I destroyed you. And now um, I'm a bit more. Let me put it this way: I don't instigate the wars. So in the last
Mm,
one, I would say, "Okay, it's time to attack a new faction," wah, and I would swarm them with my armies. So now it's more that I just focus a lot more on building up my empire, to put it that way. So upgrade my
mm,
villages into cities and upgrade all the thingies in there. So the farms and the public order. I'm also focused more on diplomacy and on trading. But for some reason, people are getting there's a mechanic in the game and they can become scared of you because your military might is, for example, bigger than theirs. So you actually form or pose a threat to them. And then
yeah.
they just, you can see that, for example, you can be really good with one faction and then all of a sudden 3 turns later, that faction starts to hate you because your armies are stronger or bigger or whatnot. And then eventually they're like, well, I think we need to put an end to you. And then a coalition forms, they gang up on you, they try to take you out. Luckily, I have this massive empire and pretty strong units because that's also what I focused on early on to kind of get stronger units in the really early part of the game with
Mm,
reforms, for example. So this morning, for example, I was playing a game in which I had an army of 1,100 soldiers, and I was up against two armies combined of around 1,800 soldiers, and obviously I won. And it's also that, but the funny thing is it kind of happened without me knowing. So what I generally do is um, your game has your generals have a certain role. So they're either a commander or a sentinel or a champion or a vanguard or a strategist, and they have like colors that differentiate themselves, and units have the same color, so you kind of know which units to pair up with which general. And then they have
mm,
different roles. So, for example, a strategist is blue. Blue equals archers. Archers are soldiers that stand in the back. So you should never send your strategist to fight with a sword because he'll probably get his ass kicked, but he has certain abilities such as fire arrows or specific tactics he can employ. And then there's, for example, a champion who's kind of this nitty gritty fighter. He can win duels if you have one-on-one duels with other generals, which you can do. He can almost always win those duels, or he's really good at fighting against an army. For example, vanguards are really good at holding an army in its place, and it's also recommended to pair it up with certain units. So what I generally do is I build an army and I have like vanguard, strategist, and a champion, so that I have all bases covered. And then usually I give the vanguard, I give them cavalry units so they can kind of flank in the back and take out the archers of the enemy because archers are pretty deadly. Um, so in this case, I had my armies kind of like waiting. I had my cavalry hiding in the woods, ready to ambush them. And I was so focused on my cavalry that I didn't realize that my main army was being attacked. But by the time I realized that, my main army had almost wiped out the whole enemy force without me actually giving them orders to do it because I was so focused on my cavalry. And it's because I had so many archers that it was literally this wall of arrows flying at these little battalions, and then every time a battalion would storm my army, all archers would gang up on him, and you would see this rain of arrows, and then within like 3 or 4 seconds, either the whole battalion would be wiped out, or they would rout and run away. Because that's also cool that there's morale. It's been in the game for multiple games that when the morale of a certain unit starts to decline, they start to incur more casualties, and when their morale really breaks, they run off, or general dies, they have no more morale, they run away. Um, so yeah, and the funny thing is I am in the part that so Romance of the Three Kingdoms, where Three Kingdoms is based on, is actually based on three big factions: Wei, Wu, and Shu. And I am the Shu faction. The Wu faction is still alive. The Wei faction, I've managed to wipe them out, whereas in the previous campaign, I had to wipe out the Wei as last because they were the strongest. But eventually,
Yeah.
they started this war with me, and it pissed me off so much because I was kind of at peace with the guy, and he
Yeah.
pissed me off so much that I created peace with all other factions that I was in war with or that instigated war. And I focused all my efforts on Wei, and I also vassalized a couple of factions. So we ganged up on them, and then other few turns, the Wei guys would say, "Hey, we want peace, we want peace." I'm like, "No, man, you messed with the wrong guy. I'm gonna go till the end. We're gonna wipe you off from this map, and then we'll see." And I was really determined. So like every 3 turns, they were like, "Hey, we want to give you money." Like, "No, I don't want your money. We want to give you this." "No, I don't want that." I'm like, "But please, we want peace." I'm like, "No, the only way you will find peace is in death. So die."
Dang,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah. Don't
Oh,
trust
man.
yourself, you know.
Oh, my goodness.
So yeah, so now there are smaller factions, whereas in my previous campaign, all these smaller factions would have been wiped out by now. So there are a lot more
Mm,
smaller factions that have decided to declare war on me. There's one faction called Kong Rong. He was really nice to me, and all of a sudden he flipped, and then I had the same thing. "We're gonna go till you die." He offered me peace, and he found peace in death.
Dude. Wow, okay. Do
But
not
you know
cross
what the
this
funny
guy.
thing is? The funny thing is you have your faction has a reputation towards others. So
Mm,
you're emperor, and you can be either treacherous, or you could be trustworthy, or you can be respected. In the previous campaign, I always was either trustworthy for a little bit, and then I would be treacherous for a long bit because I would either annex all my vassals and absorb them into my army, or
yeah.
so I would create peace with one, and then 3 turns later, I would have to declare war on them, saying, "Hey, but you've recently signed treaties, and now you're betraying them, so you're a treacherous person." So now I'm a respected person because make I choose or I make the good choices, or I go for the greater good. So it's funny that I'm taking a whole different approach. I'm also employing more spies, so I'm trying to figure out what the other factions are doing.
Yeah.
So it feels like I'm getting far more from the game than I used to do in my first session. Because in my first session it was a lot of combat, and
Yeah.
now it's less combat, more diplomacy and trading and army building. So yeah, it's really. I just checked on Steam. I have 103 hours into the game, and I think it's going to be a
Damn.
lot more. Also, because Creative Assembly is releasing a new downloadable content pack, kind of like a mini expansion on March 19th. It will add either new generals, or existing generals will get like their own campaign. So they showed a video on, for example, that there is this general from the Wu faction called Sun Se. He's the son of the faction leader, and then he has different mechanics such as luck. So you have to do certain missions, because normally you have like the normal missions that you have to get to the end of the game, but now you have far smaller assignments and missions that you need to complete to earn points towards your luck meter. Because when your luck kind of runs out, your character will die, and with each passing turn, your luck will slowly decline. You kind of need to counteract that by taking actions to raise your luck again. He also has a far more aggressive play style, and he's also, for example, in the start of his campaign, he is a vassal to another emperor. So you don't have that freedom, and then eventually you can choose to either break off and declare your independence, or you can um, follow the story. They'll be adding a lot more new units, and it's still the same map. It's just that it's set in a different time, so the landscapes change a little bit. I like the fact that they're doing these small booster packs or content packs instead of these big expansions, because it also
Yeah.
allows them to do more regular content instead of once every 6 months or whatever. Um, so yeah, that's my time with Total War, and the expansion pack for the Division 2 came out last week, Warlords
Oh
of New
yeah.
York. I bought it, and um, I haven't finished it yet. So how Warlords of New York works is that you have Aaron Keener, the bad guy from the previous game, Division 1. You need to find him, so you go back to New York. He has 4 lieutenants, and you need to take them all 4 out, and then you get intel to go after Aaron Keener. I've taken out 2 now. I'm working on the third. How it works is they all have an area in New York that they're based in, and then you need to 3 or 4 missions in that area, main
Hmm.
missions to beat the boss and get more intel on Aaron Keener. Um, it's really cool to see that it's in a different side of New York. There are recurring characters from the first game, which is nice. They have overhauled the game a lot, so you start at level. They've raised the level cap from 30 to 40. So if you don't have a level 30 character, you can use like this booster pack and raise that character to 30 immediately. The funny thing is all your high end gear from your current character is kind of like reset to zero. So when you start in Warlords of New York, you still have that gear, but you will start to get new gear, and it will still be like in a lower tier. So it'll be like green gear, blue gear, purple, and
Yeah.
then working its way up to high end. Um, this also allows you to get more diverse weapons because the meta's changed, of course. So I
Yeah.
use a lot of SMGs and M4s right now, and in the meta of the previous one, it was a lot of DMRs and LMGs. So I like the variation there. They've overhauled the armor system. Like they've done a lot of overhauls of all the systems. So is more focused on also skill, because in the previous game you could use your abilities, but you had to have a specific area that you need to focus on. But I didn't use that at all. I was more focused on armor and damage, and now they change it up a bit so that people can also spec into those skills and get more out of that. um, I don't know if there's a big end game part because I haven't finished the game yet. I'm playing bite size. It's yeah, it feels familiar, and at the same time, it's not something bad necessarily. I just hope that there is some more end game content involved as soon as you Iron Key, 'cause otherwise it would be. Yeah, I wouldn't say it wouldn't be worth €30, but I do expect something more for,
Yeah.
and that's basically it.
Okay. Cool. Well, I'm curious to see how you find the end game of this content patch. So, because I heard it, it's like, oh, okay. Even if you don't have a character that's level 30, you can create a new character and then have that start off at level 30 and
Yep.
work your way from there. So, I mean, it's cool that they're doing that. Kind of feels like when you get an expansion for um,
Destiny.
World of
Oh,
Warcraft.
World of
So,
Warcraft. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
So that's
Destiny
cool.
does the same thing. Basically,
Oh,
this is to be the Taken King of the division.
of
That's how it.
Division. Yeah. All right. Cool. Awesome. So, I guess that's what we've been playing. So stick around, and we'll be right back with our hidden gems. And welcome back to our final segment. As always, the hidden gems. Sean
Ouch, my
Templar.
ears. I can't hear what you're saying now. Eh? What?
What is your hidden gem?
What? Huh?
Oh,
Uh,
you can hear me.
my hidden gem is a game, and people know it. It's kind of my favorite franchise, or one of my favorite franchises. It's the game called Battlefield Bad Company 2.
Mhm.
Um, some consider it one of the better Battlefield games Dice has made in the past. Um, it was also.
I would actually agree with that.
Wow, I'm surprised.
Yeah, I played the first the Bad Company. I played Bad. I also played Bad Company too a bit. I
Yeah,
like them.
So Bad Company was a complete change for Dice when they started on it, because it was the first Battlefield game that actually had a fully fledged single player with a story and real characters in it. Um, you were part of this. You were a rookie in this squad that is basically, I wouldn't say kind of the outcasts of the army, but they are the weird guys in the army. In the first game, it was set in Europe. The second game took you all over the place. There was more. It started out with a mission in World War II, for example. So you would have this really cool and funny single player campaign that you would follow. A signature feature of the Bad Company franchise was that you could destroy almost everything. And so in Bad Company 2, they went even further by saying literally, you can destroy everything. Um, what I liked about that game is that it just felt so, it felt good. I mean, the mechanics were nice, the gunplay was nice. You could literally blow everything up. I mean, that was also fun when at the start of a match you would see all these buildings and all these houses, and then at the end of the match you would see this panning shot over the map, and you would see that the entire buildings were wiped out. You could literally blow everything up, and that was
Mm,
cool because sometimes you would just be in this house and then all of a sudden everything starts to shake and bam, the house used to collapse on top of you and you would just be dead. um, it also was, it wasn't as expansive from a weapons customization part. That's something they improved on in Battlefield 3. So you would have these pre-made kits, and then you could maybe add a scope or not. That was the only thing you could add. But the classes were balanced really well. You had an engineer, an assault class with meta capabilities. You would have a sniper and a heavy machine gunner, kind of the same formula Battlefield follows now. They had a great variety of maps. So some maps were really focused on infantry combat. Some were really focused on vehicle combat. You could play up to 64 players in multiplayer. And what they later did is they added an expansion called Battlefield Bad Company 2 Vietnam, in which they would add a whole Vietnam section to the game. Um, it almost felt like it's entire a separate game on its own. It was that good and that accurate and expansive. So you would have flamethrowers and M60s and
yeah,
M16s, and it really from a visual point of view, it was really nice because I can always remember that it was so colorful compared to how Battlefield games are now. For
yeah.
example, Battlefield 3 was really gritty. It had this really gritty gray filter over it, but would remember that the greens or the reds or the yellows would really pop and stand out, um,
As well as the characters from the single player.
as well as the characters.
Oh man, I love the single player of both games, man. Those characters are so ridiculous.
Yeah, they're
Like
just,
they're so like they're just the right of over the top
yeah,
that doesn't become insulting, but also not so underplayed that it's just trying too hard.
yeah,
It's like just that perfect level of like those are bros that you kind of want to see what they're gonna get up to next.
yeah. They have this
Yeah,
perfect balance on not too crazy, not too serious. I remember one of the characters. I think he was from Texas. I don't know. He loved to blow stuff up. So we
yeah.
constantly find
Oh,
reasons to
no.
blow stuff up, and that was so funny that we do that. And then you had this really smart ass guy with the glasses, and was always a bit panicky and scared and really careful. Like, oh, should we do that? I don't know if that's the right thing to do right now. And they're like,
Yeah,
no, yeah, we're gonna blow it up because that's what we do. Throw dynamite at it, stuff like that. So that will really make
yeah.
it funny. Um, I know that a lot of fans have been asking for Bad Company 3. I know that,
They should.
yeah,
They really should.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I also know that it's been rumored for a really long time that Dice is working on Bad Company 3. Um, it it might be the next Battlefield that comes out. Who knows? Because EA and Dice have confirmed that a new Battlefield game is in development. It's coming out next year, probably,
Mhm.
and it looks amazing apparently, and it plays amazingly. Um, I'm honestly, I haven't played a lot of Battlefield 5 any recently. Maybe also because I've been playing a lot of Modern Warfare on my PlayStation, and every time I go back to Battlefield, I kind of don't have the same feel for it with the mouse and keyboard. Whereas before, I could play really nicely and smoothly, and now it's taking me a lot more time to get used to the mouse and keyboard. And by the time I'm used to it, I'm at the point that I'm like, you know what? I'll just skip this and play some Modern Warfare. I know that Battlefield has been getting a lot of updates. They've been adding new content to Battlefield 5 and also a lot of improvements to the games and the mechanics. It's
Yeah.
just that I don't have the same feeling for it that I used to have last year.
Mm.
Maybe it's because Modern Warfare came out and I have something better to play in the meanwhile.
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, um, I'm not. Here's the thing: like when Battlefield One came out and Battlefield Five, they're all like based in you know World War One, World War Two, stuff like
But
that.
I
But
actually
that does
liked
not.
the Battlefield one. I never expected it to like it so much because when it was announced that it was one, I thought,
Yeah,
who's waiting for that? I mean, Battlefield One, World War One weapons aren't that exciting. It's
and then
not,
they added Zeppelins,
and they added zeppelins, and the combat was so nice, and they added um, operations, which was nice. It just felt so nice. And then I expected Battlefield 5 to be more of the same, but at the same time it felt like an expansion pack then like a completely new game. And that's maybe the disconnect that I had with it. And I gave it a lot
mm,
of time because in the beginning it was really bad. And
yeah,
it got better, but it never got to the point that it's consistently getting better. So one patch might fix a lot of things, the other patch might break a lot of things. So it's like this up and down, and eventually I just got tired of that.
yeah. Mm, that's a shame.
Yeah.
But if the also, I will say this: if they are making Bad Company 3, I'm on board. Like I'm like 100% on board now because I like the single player of Bad Company 1 and Bad Company 2. So like if you do Bad Company 3, like get the band back together. Let's do this. I'm all in. I'm all in.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
like legit I'm all in. Like the only thing I don't remember, did Bad Company 1 or 2 have um online co-op on that? I don't remember that. I
nope.
think it didn't, eh?
Nope.
Yeah.
Battlefield 3 was the first game to incorporate it. I think it was also the last game to incorporate it until Battlefield 5.
Oh. Oh.
It was not. I
Okay.
don't think it was that popular because you also noticed with Battlefield 3's co-op that it was so limited. It was only a couple of missions.
Oh, that's weird. Huh. Oh well, who knows?
That is my hidden gem. What is yours?
Well, my hidden gem is actually something that we missed in the news. Two consoles celebrated their anniversaries. One of them was the PlayStation 2, which celebrated its what was it when it came out 20 almost 20 years, like
25,
19 years.
something like that? 20,
No,
25?
PlayStation 2 is not 25 years.
Is it the
It came
PlayStation
out in
itself?
2001.
Is it the PlayStation itself exists 25 years, something like that?
Yeah, like the PlayStation 2, the console.
Yeah, no, but I mean, like, Sony's been also doing this celebration for PlayStation, that
Oh,
PlayStation
in
brand.
general for
Yeah,
yeah, for the brand, yeah. Yeah, the brand is like I think 25, 26 years old, but PlayStation 2 is I think 19 years old now or 20.
20, I think 20. Came out in
Yeah.
2000, 2001, something like that.
Yeah. So that celebrated its birthday on the same day that the Nintendo Switch celebrated its third birthday.
Eh,
And one of the games that I picked up was, well, of course, Breath of the Wild, but we've already talked about that a whole a bunch of times. But another game that I picked up at the time was a launch exclusive for the Switch. Is a little title called Snake Pass. This is a very unique platformer where you play as, well, as the title says, a snake, and it's actually a really cool mechanic because if you've played any platformer, of course the first thing that comes to mind is running and jumping on enemies and stuff like that. Or if you played something more methodical like Banjo Kazooie, um, it's a bunch of collecting and stuff, and it's more of the collectathon like Banjo Kazooie. Even the art style kind of feels more. It feels like a rare game, but it's not. It's made by Sumo Digital, which if you've known them, they made the the very popular Sonic and All Stars Racing Transformed, and the the game that came before that as well. And I think they worked on the third game as well. I'm forgetting the name on that one right now. But yeah, so they made this platformer where you play as a snake, and well, snakes don't run, they don't jump, they
Slither.
slither, and you actually have to slither around the levels.
Oh my god.
So you can you can slither left and right, and you can go. You can extend your body up and down, and that's how you basically slither around poles to go up to a higher platform, grab items, uh, and just get all the items and then get to the goal, which is like the first time I heard about it, I thought it was really weird. Um, but it was not that expensive, so I just like, you know what? I can't just play Breath of the Wild the whole time. I need something for in between for like downtime, so I bought that and I really enjoyed it. Like I haven't finished yet because the last level is insanely difficult. But it is really fun. Like the difficulty does ramp up in a nice steady pace, but for some reason I cannot get past that last world, man. It's just the levels are so tough and the objectives are just because the at that point the game expects you to have mastered the whole game mechanic of slithering around as a snake, so you have objectives that are just floating in midair and you have to figure out how to suspend the snake's body in midair from a pole
What?
that's on this other platform. So you have to slither up to the other platform, get there, and then you have to suspend yourself so that you can get to the other side, and then you have to suspend yourself so that you can grab the oh my goodness, it's so
Wow.
crazy.
This sounds so
like
complicated.
like it gets so challenging, but that's the thing, that the part of it is the challenge that's really appealing to this game. And it's very unique in the fact that it is a platformer where you can't jump and you technically can't run. You can slither faster, but you really have to you have to master the mechanic of slithering from left to right with the left stick. So basically, you're in control of the body, but to move forward, you're in control of the head like a real snake. So you use the head to go left and right and to speed up, and then you have to use the trigger buttons to um, basically stiffen the body so that the body gets suspended when you're slithering in midair, so you can reach um, the the item that you want to get, like it's a gem or some other artifact that you need to reach so that you can open the door to the next level. And did I also say that they also have a speedrun version?
What?
Like they have like I they you have the regular levels, but you also have time trials. So the first time you beat the level, it's fine, and then you can also tackle the time trial version because then you know where all the gems are. So you can try and get a quick score, a quick time score on that. It's
Huh.
really crazy. It's really pretty too. It's also one of the first games that was on the Switch that was made in Unreal Engine 4. So
Oh,
you know that it's pretty.
I didn't know Unreal
Um
Engine 4 was available for a Switch.
yeah, man, that was like that's one of the reasons why you see a bunch of games that like the early games, like most of them were like Unreal Engine 4 games.
Oh,
Yeah. But it's also available on other platforms. It's on PC, on Steam. You can download it on PlayStation. You can download it on Xbox One. It came out, I think,
what was it called again? Snake?
Snake Pass. I think it came out like a year later on all the other platforms. So, yeah, I think I saw the Steam
Hey, Sumo
page.
Digital. I know those guys.
Yeah, I know you do. Like, they're a real that game company
Yeah.
because they do a lot of work for hire.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's really good. Like it's on Steam for $20. I think that costs the same on.
Yeah.
Um,
It looks really pretty. Really colorful and kid
yeah, man.
friendly and
Yeah, like I said, man, they went for that rare like
Uh,
Banjo Kazooie
yeah,
aesthetic.
nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so if you're up to something, if you like a platformer, you want something a bit more challenging, yeah, that's the way to go.
I won't buy it, but recommendation.
Oh, you don't have to buy it. I have it. So if you want to try, if whenever you want to try it, you can try it out on my Switch. So
I'll hold you to it.
all right, so that is it for another Game Rivals. Thank you guys so much for listening. Um, as always, you can find us on all the podcasting stations. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, our home Anchor, of course. You can find us on Stitcher, Overcast. Um, we have some new listeners that I saw from Pocket Cast. Welcome, thank you for listening. Share the good word. Um, Please don't forget to leave us 5-star ratings on whatever podcasting app that you're listening on. You can always give us feedback on via the email, via gamerivalsfeedback@gmail.com. You can also send us a tweet at game underscore rivals underscore. Ooh, I almost made that mistake there. You can also tweet at me. I'm at Maximilian. You can also find us on Instagram, which is at Game Rivals. You can also send us a voice message. You don't need to make an Anchor account for that. The link is in the description. You can find our YouTube page where I will, as I said before, be uploading the highlights of my live stream of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Um, you can find the link in the description as well. And I just want to do a quick shout out to the people that filled in the questionnaire for us that we've been having on the podcast for the past couple of months. Last week was the last episode was the last time that was on. That feedback poll is now closed. We're gonna take your guys' feedback and we're gonna try and implement it to make the show even better for you guys. Um, Sean Templar, is there anything else that you want to tell the nice people that are listening?
Uh, no, I want to thank everybody as I always do for listening and for their feedback. It really keeps us. It's like the fuel that keeps this engine going. To put it in a race term. Uh, I just hope that. I mean, like when I look back, leading up to let's say January, our episodes were really filled with a lot of content, and now it's just so silent in the games industry right now. So
Mhm.
sometimes it's really hard to like find a lot of stuff to talk about because it's either about the same stuff and we don't constantly want to talk about the same stuff, such as a lot of stuff going on around GeForce Now or Stadia. I mean, like those are subjects we already touched upon, and we kind of don't want to beat a dead horse. And it's it feels like the silence before the storm, so that hopefully soon a lot of stuff will come up. I mean, I feel like Sony might release more info on the PS5 any day now. So when that stuff comes out, we'll have jam-packed episodes to talk about. Also, leading up to hopefully the next gen console launches, we will do more. It's just that, yeah, it's just so quiet, and that kind of makes it a bit more difficult to either play things or to talk about things because there's not a lot going on.
Yeah, that's why we are so grateful for people that stick around and listen and still, spread the good word about the podcast and let people know where they can find us. I hope you to continue to do that, and we'll continue to bring us the content that you listen to us for. So, with that out of the way, I have been Maximilian X,
And I'm still Sean Templar.
and we'll catch you all next time.